Namaste. Welcome to me, Manas Sakshi, and welcome to our show Vastu and Grahasastra by Dr. Deepika Sangi Gupta. So, before going to our show, today's our topic is about myths of Vastu, which is the continuation of previous episode. So, let's welcome our guest Deepika Sangi Gupta garu. Hello, Deepika ji. How are you?
Hello, Preeti ji. I am good. How are you?
I'm good, Deepika ji. So before entering into our questions and all these things, Deepika ji, so normally the people will think like Vastu in the sense it's a separate zone what we need to take care, and it's not that much mandatory. And for example, if some people have the opinion to consult any Vastu Guru, they'll feel it's very costly and they cannot afford it. But with our show, what we are trying to say to the viewers is like Vastu is not a separate zone. Vasa is nothing but balancing the energies from all the directions. Balancing is the important word in our life too. So in the Vastu is also nothing but in some zones, like in some directions, there will be different types of energies as we discuss some positive energy and some negative energies, and positive energies can also be little bit more from one of the directions. So we need to balance both the positive and negative zones. And
Yeah.
if there are any tips we are providing to the, I mean, for it, it can be like office or it can be like home or it can be for a small room also. It's very
Yeah.
simple things which is affordable, like changing the colors and putting
Yeah.
some mats inside of the homes. Like everyone can afford this. It's not like we
Yeah.
are not telling just demolish this wall from the south zone and just again build some wall in the north zone or anything like that. We are absolutely suggesting the people like okay, just balance the energies, keep the home clean. So how to avoid the things, I mean, which causes the negative energies. So
Yeah.
people will have lot of myths on this Vastu, Deepika ji. First of all, we want from you like how we are telling people like Vastu is not a separate zone. It is the important thing in our life, Deepika ji.
See, first of all, I really like the way you put the topic and the balancing thing. Balance is needed in everything, whether it is your body, whether it's your relationship, whether you are studying, balancing is needed, right? To have a happy and prosperous life, you need the things to be balanced, right? If there is imbalance in any, part of your life, whether it's health, whether it's relationship, or whether it's your career, so then you won't be enjoying a good life, a happy life, and a prosperous life. So balancing is needed everywhere. See, in Vastu we say Vastu Purusha. So Vastu Purusha is what? A energy field inside the house. So Vastu and Purush means a man. So it's a like a body in the house. So just like our body needs the balancing, similarly a house needs a balancing, right? And then again, this is a myth that through demolitions only we can balance the house. No ways. Through lights, through pyramids, through colors, we can balance the zone in any part of the house. So we don't need demolitions at all in the house. The second thing, and the third thing which you said, that vastu, it is really very important. See, vastu, where you live. So why a person earn? Just to have a good home, a good family, good children, and everything balanced there. So where you keep all these things? In home only. So one should definitely go for the vastu of the home. And if you are in business, then definitely the vastu of your office or your business place also. That is also very much needed. So vastu is really very, very much important, and with very simple remedies we can correct the vastu. And this is really, I'm so thankful to Sakshi TV that through this show we are spreading that word that vastu is not a costly science, it is affordable and it is easy to apply.
That's really good to hear, Deepika ji, because as we are in the topic of myths on Vastu, we need to clarify the people like Vastu means not only like it's not affordable, it's really affordable and which makes some sense in balancing the all the energies from all the directions, Deepika ji.
Yeah.
So coming to our questions in previous episode, we started about the T section houses, Deepika ji. So you suggested us like some directions would be the good and some directions would not be the good. So can we know a little bit more about the T point houses, Deepika ji?
See, there are two types. Like one is T-point and the other one is like bulb shape, which we see here in the US, right? So these both fall in the same category, and the T intersection is not regarded as a good intersection, so that is okay. But in some zones, it is a good direction. One of the example is if the T intersection is at the northeast point, then it's very, very good. See, the White House, it is at a T zone from the northeast, and then the Buckingham Palace is again at the T zone. So the T zone is exactly from the northeast. And see, we all know that the Buckingham Palace has ruled the world. It's after the World War II only that their power started losing up, right? Because they have built, in the memory of the soldiers died in the World War II, they built up a kind of a, this fountain in front of that T zone. So the energies got blocked. And after World War II only, slowly and slowly, they lose their power in the world. So T point section is not always a bad. It's sometimes very, very good depending on what energy field it is falling. Like one of the field, as I said, the Northeast, if it is falling in the Northeast, then it's really very good. But definitely it's good for the prosperity. But regarding the health, the T junctions, the bulb, those houses which are situated on that, particularly that arc is not at all good.
Okay. So, Deepika ji, as we discussed a lot about the directions, how to, I mean, which direction is good for home and business and everything, Deepika ji, and also we discussed a lot about the kitchen too. But if there is a kitchen, for example, if it is a east-facing kitchen, but the stove is facing towards the west, so is it good to have a west-facing, stove so that people will face to the west and they will cook, Deepika ji? Is it allowed? Or if it is not good, and what's the best directions for us to cook, Deepika ji?
See, this is again a myth that, while cooking, your face should always be in the east or in the north. See, if we see practically, is this possible? No. And then, doing any constructional changes in US is again a next to impossible kind of a thing, right? So it is not, it's a myth that your face should be in the east or in the north while cooking the food. And then east facing kitchen or the south facing kitchen is only good. It is again a myth. The kitchens in the west are very good. The kitchens of the northwest are very good. It depends. Again, the kitchen element is fire. So where we are placing the fire, if the fire is in the water zone, then definitely it is going to ruin the fire and water elements both. So it depends that where at what zone it is. But it is again a myth. You can face north, you can face west, you can face east while cooking. Just avoid south facing cooking, otherwise it's all good. And if in case you have a south facing, then for that also, just put some bhajans, just put some motivational, inspirational talk or something while cooking the food. See, more than facing the direction, it's like your own aura and energy. Let's say you're facing east, perfect, like the myth for the Vastu, that you should face east while cooking. But if your own energies are not good, if you are a negative thinker, if you are in angry, mode and cooking the food, then you will put that negative vibrations in the food. So more than facing the direction, it's about your own energies. Cook with a good energy, cook with a loving energy, with unconditional love, with lots of like service inside you, love inside you. And then whatever direction you're facing, you will cook a good food only, you will cook a healthy food. It would become like a prasadam, right? So like, yeah, in temple also, what happens that those all the cooks over there are always in that spiritual zone, in spiritual atmosphere, spiritual aura, that whatever is cooked in the temple becomes a prasadam, and it's very, very tasty and healthy too. So similarly at the home also, cook with that love instead of thinking about the directions.
Of course, Deepika ji, like inspirational quotes will always inspire the people. It's one of the best remedy, not only for this Vastu tip, for everything. If we place some inspirational quotes everywhere in the home, seriously, that will inspire us, Deepika ji.
Yes,
And
that definitely inspires.
so, as you mentioned, like there is a myth on, the phasing while cooking. Is there anything like in the same way for studying too, Deepika ji?
See, again, it's a myth. Whenever I go for Vastu, people say, no, no, the study should be like something north facing or, south, east facing. So this is again a myth. It depends what kind of a study you are doing. If you are into the law, then I would say sit in the western side of southwest and face south. If you are studying something related to sales, then, again, sit in the east and face towards the west. If you are studying something related to marketing, banking, finance, then, you can sit in the western side of the southwest facing north. So it depends like what kind of a, study you are doing. If you are into medicines, then face northeast rather than, either east or north. So it totally depends like what kind of a, study you are doing, and how much focus you need. A kindergarten student does not need too much focus even in the middle school, but when you are in the high school, you need a lot of focus. Like if you are facing the, eastern side of the northeast, if the child is facing, and you are in your high school, you won't be able to focus for a longer period of time. So it depends what kind of a study you are into it, and then face accordingly. It is totally a myth that while studying only face either east or north. And it is practically not possible that in when you're living in a house, how can you do each and every act just facing towards the east or the north? It's not possible also.
Yes, absolutely true, Deepika ji. So, Deepika ji, like, is it true like marriageable girls should sleep only in northwest direction, Deepika ji?
See, again, it is a myth because see, northwest is a direction of your support. Northwest is a direction where things rotate very quickly. So usually when we do Vastu of a business place, we tell them that put your finished products in the northeast. See, daughters are not products, right? They are your child. They are your like loving princess. Like, they rule your heart. They're apple of your eyes. They're not products whom you want to sell. You want for your daughters to get married to a person with good morals, a person with good career, a person with good values, and a loving person, right? You don't just want to sell them that, okay, see, when we sell the product, we hardly care with whom it's going. We just what matter is our money, right? We take the money and we sell the product, and it hardly matters whether whatever they do in their home with that product, right? But daughters, we are concerned for them. They are not products. We are concerned even after the marriage, they are happy or not. So we are concerned about them. So daughters are not products. Don't make them sleep in the northwest. If the girl is sleeping in the northwest for a longer period of time and her dasha is not at all active for the marriage, she might develop some or the other hormonal disbalance. So daughters should not sleep in the northwest. To get them married to a good match, there are so many other zones. They should sleep over there. So to attract a right energy in their life.
Of course, Deepika ji, daughters are the energies to all the families.
Yeah.
Before going to our topic, we have a caller, Madhu from New Jersey, Deepika ji. Let's take the call. Madhu?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello, Madhu. Deepika is here with us.
Yeah, Deepika ji.
Hello, Madhuji.
Hello, Deepika. Hi, Deepika ji. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I really like your show. I really watch your show.
Thank you.
I have a question regarding Vastu.
Yeah, please ask.
Deepika ji, I just want to know where is the exact place to keep the aquarium in the house? Which direction?
What? In the house?
Aquarium in the house.
Cradle?
Cradle in the house.
Which is the right direction to keep the aquarium, please?
Yeah, for the cradle, I would say the northwest is the right direction. You can keep it over there. Or in the eastern side also, it is a good direction. And then the southwest is also a very good direction to place the cradle.
Okay. And then how many fishes should be there in the aquarium?
I could not hear. Can you ask the question? Preeti, can you ask the question?
How many fishes should be there in the aquarium?
How many?
In the aquarium. Okay. So first of all, according to the Vastu, we don't allow aquarium to be in the house. Like it is not the right thing to keep in the house. And still, if you want to keep, then keep something in the odd numbers.
Hello, Madhu. Are you there? Some disturbance is going on in the line, Deepika ji. We can't hear her properly too. And Madhuji is so excited to while talking with you. So, Madhuji, we will the same question I'll ask to Deepika ji. Deepika ji, can you explain something about can we place aquarium in the home or not, so that Madhuji's question also will be answered, Deepika ji.
See, according to the Vastu, I don't allow aquariums in the house. And then still, if somebody is interested, then I would say, odd number of fishes.
So
Then, that is all the feng shui concepts that, one black and then other should be. So according to the Vastu, we don't believe in this at all. So,
what
and
about
usually aquariums should not be allowed.
Okay. So in another way, like keeping fishes in a small tank is not a little bit, I mean, it's not good to some people, like keeping them in a small water. They have to be like freely, they can swim in the ocean, but we are keeping them in the home in a small tank. So that can be also the reason. So what about the pets, Deepika ji? Is there anything related to the pets? Like some people will have some puppies in the home, some people will have some birds in the home. So lot of different types of pets they are maintaining, Deepika ji. So any
Yeah,
answer?
see, when you are keeping the pets, if you are giving them that and unconditional love, so that is good. But at the same time, you are, restricting their boundaries, right? So, like dog, cats, they're okay, and but like birds, you are restricting them. You're just putting them in the cage. And similarly for the aquariums also, we don't allow according to the Vastu.
Okay.
Don't
Yes,
restrict anybody's movement, right?
of course. That will be like some people concerned to Deepika ji. And
Yeah.
Deepika ji, like I heard from you only like one should enhance the energy of house through the crystals. Can we know about little bit more like what is this crystals and what we need to know about this, Deepika ji?
See, crystal, people have so many myths into that. First of all, the crystals, they need lot of cleaning. They need lot of vibrations. They catch vibrations very easily. You might have seen that the people, those who have granite in their kitchen, like granite is again a big crystal. So if you have kept the granite, then some or the other hormonal disturbance will be there to the female of that house, any of the females, living in that house. So avoid crystals keeping in the house. And still, if you are attracted towards the crystals, just pick the right crystals for you. The crystals energies are very tricky energy. The second thing, always clean them with the salt water. Then on the day of new moon, full moon, sorry, always keep them under there to have the, energize them over there also. So keeping the crystals in the house is very, very risky thing. The chemical chemistry of the crystals is something like that. They can create chronic diseases to the people living in the house. So the crystals need lot of cleaning. They catch vibrations very easily, and they need to be put under the full moon every month. Then only we allow the crystals, otherwise not. Instead, use the pure stones, like we use in the Vedic thing. Using the pure stones is much, much better than using the crystals. People always keep amethyst. It is such a tricky, crystal. It can create depression if you have kept it in the wrong zone, and it can create chronic diseases too. But people keep amethyst and rose quartz like here and there. But no, don't keep them like this in the house.
Okay. So Deepika ji, like something I know about, like some people will think wind chimes are very auspicious and they should be placed at the entrance of the door. So anything about this, Deepika ji?
See, regarding the wind chimes, I would say that, wind chimes again should never be put in the south direction. And yes, they can be put in the north, in the east, in the west. And then always place the wind chimes, on the entrance of your house, at the main gate, not here and there. Sometimes people keep them inside their bedrooms also, so that is not the right place. The energies which are created by the wind chime is only appropriate for the main doors, that's it. And then again, in the north, the number of the rods there, the color. In the east it will have some different colors, in the west it will have some different colors. So don't play with the wind chimes like this, and totally avoid them in the south of the house.
Okay. So Deepika ji, like normally the basic Vastu is like head of household people should sleep in one particular direction of the home, and the kids should sleep in the other direction, and guest room should be the other direction. So is there anything to be particular about the head of household living room, rooms, Deepika ji?
See, usually people say whenever I go, like they say, okay, the master bedroom should be in the southwest, right? So it is again a myth. See, it depends the head of the family, as you are saying that the head of the family. So the head of the family, if we talk about, then it depends whether the head of the family is working or non-working. Sometimes you have joint family system, right? So maybe the grandparents are like the head of the family and they are not working, so they should never live in the southwest. See, southwest is actually the direction of your stability in life, for your professional stability, for your relationship stability in the life. It is a earth element zone, so the southwest should be used very much properly. The main, I would say, working member of the house should stay in the southwest direction rather than the head of the family. The main source of income, the person who is bringing the main source of income to the house, should stay in the southwest rather than the head of the family. See, it depends the head of the family. If they are old people, see what old people need. They need a good immune system. They need rest in for their body. They cannot do too much of work, so they need that energy in the body. So usually the old people, if they are the head of the family, they should stay in the south of the house, any part of the south. The children, they should stay more in the western part or the eastern part or the northern part of the house. All are good for them, depending on what energy field they are sleeping. As I have earlier also said so many times in the show, that in the Vastu, we have so many energy field. This is all myth, that this is northeast, this is east, this is west. Okay, these are the direction, but these direction, all the directions have 3, 3, 4, 4 energy fields. So it depends on what energy field the person is sleeping. The southwest should be only for the person who is the main earning member of the house.
What about the north and west facing rooms, Deepika ji? Is it allowed for sleeping?
Yeah, see, again, the facing does not matter at all. It can be any facing. Where the room is in, actually in the plot, it's whether it is in the north, whether it is in the west. So if a person wants more opportunities in the life, if somebody is jobless right now, they should sleep in the north, because when you sleep in the northern side of the house, then you attract the opportunities towards you. And then the west is the most auspicious zone. It gives you profit, it gives you money, it gives you stability. So if you want that thing in your life, then the west bedroom is the best for you. So it depends what kind of a work you are in. According to that, you pick the direction of your bedroom.
Okay. And Deepika ji, like normally, previously also I observed from like ancient people also, when they wake up early in the morning, some people will prefer to see their palms. Some people will see their faces in the mirror. Some people will go for images. Some people will go for the colors. So is there anything we need to follow when we wake up in the early morning, Deepika ji?
See, I would say when you wake up early morning, you should manifest good. Like, when you manifest good, when you think good, then definitely you attract good energies, positive energies towards you. And then definitely the good happens, right? So when you wake up early in the morning, just pay your gratitude to God that again you are seeing the sunrise. Again, you have one more day to, acquire your dreams, to pursue your dreams, to live life king size, right? A life should be not, it should not be a long, it should be big in size. It should be like more of quality, right? Rather than quantity. So just pay your gratitude to God before sleeping. Pay your gratitude to God, whatever good has been there throughout the day. And early morning, again, pay your gratitude to God. See, right now during this coronavirus, you can see the rise in cases, rise in the deaths. So pay your gratitude that still we are living, still we are having the breath inside the body. So just pay your gratitude. The first thing in the morning which should be done is just paying the gratitude, and the last thing in the day should be just pay your gratitude.
Very impressive answer, Deepika ji. And one more thing is like while sleeping, our image should not be reflected in the sleeping glass. Is that true, Deepika ji?
No, this is again a big myth. People, they see here and there, and then they try to apply Vastu on their own. So this is something like, as we say, Vastu is a science. So similarly, it's like something you keep on reading about the medicines and you take the medicines on your own without consulting the doctor. So never do all these things. See, what is the looking glass? It is like the extension of the space. Wherever you keep, you see the space is getting extended. So if you keep the looking glass in the zone of depression, then the depression is going to extend. If you keep the looking glass in the zone of wastage, then that is going to extend. If you keep the looking glass in the zone of anxiety or in the zone of wasteful things, then that is going to extend. So the looking glasses, they are actually the water elements, and you can keep either on the north wall or the east wall. And if your reflection is coming while sleeping on the bed, if your reflection comes in the mirror, then that is again a myth that is going to create a problem. If the looking glass is on the north wall or the east wall and your reflection is coming, that's okay, that's perfectly okay. Never keep the looking glasses on the south wall. That is against this elemental theory. Otherwise, looking glass in the bedroom is perfectly fine. It's a myth.
Sure, Deepika ji. Like today, we like myths of Vastu is really a good topic because one should know why we need to follow the Vastu and why it's a mandatory. And importantly, we should know like Vastu tips is not like very expensive. Vastu tips are really affordable, and we need to know what should be followed for as like remedies. We should not take our own decisions. We should consult the Vastu Guru and should follow the, I mean, a little bit small remedies so that maybe some energies will be balanced, and the peace of mind for every person in the house is really important, which they'll get from the Vastu tips, Deepika ji. Today, I love the session with you regarding the myths of Vastu. So let's continue the same session in the next episode to Deepika ji.
Yeah, sure, sure. Thank you, Preeti ji. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Preeti from Sakshi TV.